So here's the passenger side control arm off the car that rotted out, 2003 Ford Focus. As you can see, it's good and solid, and I did the knock test on the bottom. It sounds fine. Here's the one that broke. I cut it apart there after I took off my welding braces there, and as you can see, it's basically rusted right to nothing. I measured in here. Starts out at like about an 1/8 inch thick, and gets down thinner, and down here it's a 1/16. Then right at the edge it was like 45 thou thick where it broke, and you know it's just paper thin. You see, it just breaks right off. So it rotted out, and here's the mating piece there that fits like that. You can see the same thing. The top's nice and thick, and then the bottom just gets thin. So I believe what caused it was when it's in operation, this points down slightly towards the wheel, and so all the crud, water, everything gets down in here by the ball joint. Now there is supposed to be holes there, but as you can see, they're filled right up with rust. Same thing on this one, though there is some semblance of a hole there, unlike on the driver's side. So I came to the conclusion that the driver's side of the car lives a rougher life here in the salt and rust belt. So if a person only had enough money to replace one control arm, I'd replace the driver's side. But I replaced both of them on this. Well, as you can see, I got both parts sitting here. So yeah, the ball joint's good and tight. It's stiff, but you can hardly move it. There it goes. So it's not loose, but it doesn't matter much when your control arm holding it rots in half. So, and like I say, I in some comments, you know, maybe I'm just driving rust bucket cars. Well, not really. I get them when they're older, get what I can afford, and then I fix them up to go through a safety check, get them back on the road. And I don't, you know, fix 6 cars up a year and sell them. I only fix cars up that I drive, like my old Corolla. So this is what I've started using for brake line. This a 3/16 outside or 1/8 inch copper nickel brake line, and I like it because it's so easy to bend and flare, and basically you put it on and forget about it. It's going to be there for, well, if it was on a new car, well, sure, you get 20 years out of it. So I'm done with steel brake line. So this car, like I said, I replaced all the brake lines on it with copper nickel. So I don't anticipate any metal brake line problems. But needless to say, I'm looking the car over. Had 200,000 kilometers on it, which is, I guess, what, 120,000 miles or something. And I guess maybe it come from near the ocean, and I'm not used to that. You know, maybe a salt spray or something rusted that out, because here around the Great Lakes I've never had one rot in half like that. So anyway, just wanted to show you the carnage there. And like I say, I've got new ones on the car now, and it's working fine. So might pay you to do the hammer knock test on the bottom surface of your control arms there by the ball joint. So all the crap seems to collect right in this area. So I don't know. I mean, this one, you know, she sounds pretty solid. This one has a completely different sound, but that's partially because I cut the end off it, so you get different resonance. Anyway, I just wanted to show everyone that it actually basically rusted in half. So, out of curiosity, I decided to cut the passenger side control arm in half, and measured it, 122 thou thick. So basically, this one has no rust. Now, I don't know the history of this car. Maybe the passenger side was replaced. I kind of doubt it. Both of them have a little bit of paint on them, as you can see, but anyway, so from this, I come to the conclusion that the driver's side of the car can rust a lot more than the passenger's. If you look down in there, you'll see that this side is plugged too, but not at the drain holes there. but not as bad as the driver's side was. So I guess when you have center bare roads, they dump the salt in the center of the road, it'll eat the driver's side of your car worse than the passenger side, as evidenced by this control arm being practically new and the driver's side one having rotted in half. Now I'll show a little bit of the bottom of the car. So there's the new lower control arm, and also got a new drive axle in there. It tore the boot out of this one, so I didn't feel like re-greasing it and going to all that trouble, so I just bought a new axle at the same time, put it in. So there's a subframe on it. Over on the other side there, it's got a new control arm on it also. So I'll tell you how much things rust in one winter here. That caliper on that side was new last fall, and I painted it black. As you can see, now it's rust. So the salt took the paint right off in one winter. So and further under the car there, as you can see, this car's not a giant rust bucket. I'll show an outside view here. Let me see. There's the rocker. Rescue my light here. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not trying to say that, but it's far from being the worst car on the road. See my new brake lines in there. So yeah, it's got some miles on it, but the suspension on that side is basically new. No, it doesn't look it. If I got another view of it, you can see it. But anyway, just to show you a little bit there in the car.